Morning, here we go, we're back again today, just a cheeky little 2-miler. Today we're going to be talking Bruno Fernandes and we're going to be talking VAR. Oh, you better believe we are talking VAR today. Let's start with that. So, yesterday, space of a couple of hours, the first match week since United's loss to Arsenal. I would call it controversial, but there wasn't even a lot of controversy, or there wasn't a lot of media controversy with it, was there? Everyone kind of went, why are you still going on about it? You lost, get over it, blah, blah, blah. Well, I just said I wanted consistency last week. And then the next game week, we see a goal ruled out for Brentford against Villa because someone impedes a goalkeeper. Oh, okay, all right, noted. And then we see the slightest of touches. Honestly, it's not a penalty on Dowman. By the way, unbelievable footballer. I think he's actually going to stick around in that team, in the first team. He's already going down. There is a nick on his boot, and then he does that thing of throwing his leg at the defender's standing leg to initiate contact, which I hate that, by the way. So, what happens? You get a penalty for Arsenal, ironically. Didn't make a difference to the result because Leeds was shit. And I'm pretty sure I could have played and scored against them. But you get a penalty for Arsenal in a similar circumstance to what we saw where Cooney didn't get one last week. Okay. And then we get a foul on the goalkeeper, ruling out a goal for the same thing that Manchester United did not get a goal ruled out for last week. All we want is consistency, lads. That's all we want. We don't want better treatment. We just want the treatment everybody else is getting. That'll do us. That would be lovely. Thank you. No. And that's why United fans are mad. And there was a guy last night like, why are you still going on about it? Still going on about it, mate, because it's the first game week since last week where it's happened. There's been no new input for Manchester United to talk about. So, of course, we're still talking about that. Christ. Aside from that, Manchester City showing their true colours. And by that, I mean the fans. By basically nobody turning up at the empty house yesterday as they lost to Spurs. Now, me and Ronnie on Friday did speak about the fact that Thomas Frank against City's got a really good record, and I wasn't quite aware of the Spurs hoodoo over City, but clearly that's a combination that works for them. City were crap. Now, I wonder if they're going to go and absolutely dunk and get rumour now after Trafford's made a mistake. Also, Pep, honestly, how is people thinking that guy was the greatest manager of all time when the riches he's had, the players he's signed, the academy system that City paid for to bring him, and he still turns in performances like that? Anyway, what's going on with Bruno and Saudi? What is going on with Bruno and Saudi? And has there been a change to, was it June? It was definitely the back end of May, but I think it might have even been June. So, the Daily Mirror ran with something last night, and there was a handful of others that were going with it. I'm setting my swap hands. And what they were going with is Al-Ittihad. Now, that's not the same team that came in. I don't know if you guys are, but I'm not. Absolutely clued up on who's who in the old Saudi Premier League sort of game. Here's what I do know. Al-Ittihad is the one Benzema plays for. It was the one that was being linked with Casemiro, this week. No sheep out. Normally a lot of sheep on this field here. Anyway, what's being said? So, Bruno is once again drawing interest from Saudi Arabia after rejecting a high-profile offer from Al-Hilal earlier this summer. His representatives have met with Al-Ittihad, who reportedly presented a contract worth $33 million a year. That feels like less than the one Al-Hilal Hofford. So, this isn't premature. This is clearly something that is ongoing. There is clear interest in Bruno Fernandes from Saudi, from possibly definitely multiple clubs. It reopens that discussion of whether United or not should have cashed in on him earlier in the summer. Now, the conversation appears to have gone like this with United earlier in the year. Hey, Bruno, do you fancy going? And Bruno went, no, not really. And he went, all right, cool. And that seems to have been the top and the bottom of the way that conversation went down. Which, from United's point of view, is relatively admirable, I would say. Let's see if this car runs me over. It did not. United didn't seem interested in what was being talked about as a £100 million fee. So United rejected that. And Bruno rejected the contract offer anyway. So what makes you think Al-Ittihad could come in and do better than Al-Hilal did? Well, for me, I don't see any reason. I do not see how this changes anything. I do not see Bruno Fernandes accepting this. But I wonder if the powers that be at United, my eyes watering like mad. Hay fever, that, innit? Hang on, another car. I wonder if the powers that be at United have gone, hey, do you know what? We've not managed to get rid of any of this gone squad. So, maybe, Bruno, if you don't mind. Because as we're seeing, we're not going to get Baleba unless there's major sales, because how else are we going to afford him? We can't test Brighton's resolve with a big old fee, because we haven't got a big old fee to throw at them unless you sell Bruno. So was this maybe the plan all along? Was maybe the plan from United that we were always going to flip Bruno at the back end of the window once we got our major signings in, i.e. like a completely overhauled forward line? Was that United's plan all along? Don't let everybody know you've got Saudi cash. Play skint, pretend you're skint all summer. If that's the case, United board, for once, would have played an absolute blinder. However, I'm not sure that's the case. I think Bruno genuinely likes playing football. I think when I personally asked him, where was we? Chicago? I think his answer of, I'm not done playing football yet, I think that was legit. Or was it just evasive, and was he always gonna, did he know that this was coming back end of the window? He hasn't played like someone that is. Maybe there's more to come in this week. I'm not sure when their transfer window is. I feel like it's got like an extra month or something on ours. But for United to benefit from this, we would have to action it like this week. Otherwise, you're not going to have the cash in from the sale to be able to get a Baleba or a Wharton or Angela still has been linked. Probably do a scout report on him tomorrow, actually. So probably post that Tuesday, Wednesday. It's a midweek game this week as well, isn't it? We'll cover that too. The movement on this, if there's going to be any, will be quick. Because it has to be quick. It has to be quick. I don't think this is the 0 out of 10 no. I don't think that this is the absolutely getting dismissed out of hand. I think the fact that his agent is going meeting them, I think the fact that you're getting talks of how much the offer is, which maybe this offer seems more realistic than the previous offer, because the previous offer was just like, what? Maybe that was never the case. Maybe the numbers leaked were just lies. From a Manchester United point of view, I don't think you can make a case that losing Bruno Fernandes improves us. when a guy gets nearly 40 goals and assists. Yes, we've added goals and assists, and maybe that's why we did add the goals and assists that we added. Maybe there was a chess game, not a checkers game, going on by United's front of house to facilitate this. And maybe that's why you're like, how are we going to bring in a Baleba? How are you even going to do that when you've just spent, 180 million on your front line? Maybe this was always the play. Maybe this was always going to be how it went down. That view. It's alright, isn't it? And just fair, that one's not bad either, to be fair. Anyway, I think when you look at the balance in Manchester United's midfield and you project forward, how are we going to, where does Bruno actually fit within this? Where does, does Casemiro fit within it? It doesn't make sense. And you think, why did we sign Mbeumo when you kind of already had Ahmad? I think we've done a really good window. We've improved. We've done stuff that makes sense. But then you've done stuff which maybe, does that make complete sense? I'm not sure if that does make actual complete sense. Like, some of the stuff we've done is maybe a little bit less strategic than other stuff. And I'm sure there's a hell of a lot of people right now in the comments that are saying, hey, do you know what? I'd sell him. He's not going to improve. I mean, he's not a bad player now, but he ain't going to improve from here. He is probably going to start to decline from here. So if it's 100 million plus that United get for him, a lot of that goes down as profit. A lot of that goes straight into the bank because we do not have £100 million in cash otherwise. I think there's a lot of people who say sell him. I think there's a lot of people who will say, you know what, time to cash in. There's not a natural fit for him in this system. And honestly, I see both sides. I do. I know it feels like a cop-out, right? But no, I do. I don't know if it's the right decision here. This is going to be one of those that you look back on in hindsight. He either stays and he plays well, or he plays bad, and you go, we should have kept him, we should have sold him. Or he goes and we improve, or we don't, and then you can do the same. We should have kept him, we should have sold him, right? The only way to know if this is the right idea or not is in hindsight. Making that decision in the here and now is difficult, and it don't really have any right answers. I'll tell you this for free though. Bruno Fernandes is without doubt the best signing Manchester United have had post Alex Ferguson. Without doubt, without argument, and I don't think there's a single Manchester United. But do you know what? There is. There's because there's people that just argue. But there isn't a single United fan with a brain that can tell me Bruno Fernandes was a bad signing, or that he hasn't been the best. I'm getting kicked off that way with a sheep. Just a 2 mile today. Actually, it'd probably be more like 3. Might even be 4. See how far I go, because normally I've turned around by now. I just thought I'd keep walking. Anyway, match day today, so I'll be back after the game. I'm doing something with Rio after the game, and tonight I'm doing a late night live at 9 o'clock. So come and join me after the game. We will talk about all things, and we'll get into anything on there as well. That's the whole purpose of late night live. I'm sure we end up with the fitness stuff, we'll probably end up with the mental health stuff, probably end up talking about the podcast. If you watch the Kai video, thank you. If you've not seen it, go check it out. If not, go check out the one I did with Dave Coleman from Civic to Commando. It's phenomenal. His story's outrageous. He got hit with a grenade in Afghanistan. Just search Stephen Howson podcast, Dave Coleman. Incredible. Anyway, see you after the game. Enjoy the game. I'm going 3-0 United. Give us your score predictions in the comments. See you in a bit.